Hello friends, I'm Dr. Navid Khan. Welcome to my channel, and today we will be discussing some interesting spotters on hysterosalpingography. So let's begin. So this is a frontal radiograph from the HSG procedure, and we can see a smooth uterine cavity, and on either side we can see thin thread-like well opacified fallopian tubes, and on either side we can also see the evidence of spillage of contrast. So this is a normal HSG. Coming to the next image, this is also a frontal radiograph, and we can see a smooth uterine cavity. What we can also see is spillage on either sides, but if we look carefully, we can see the different parts of the fallopian tube. This one is the interstitial part, this is the isthmic part, and this is the ampullary portion. And since there is free spillage on either side, so once again this is also a normal HSG. Coming to the third image, in this image we can see that on the right side there is this well opacified thin thread like fallopian tube along with the spillage of contrast freely into the peritoneal cavity. So this side is normal, but when we see on the left side, the fallopian tube is quite tortuous, dilated, and there is no spillage of contrast on the left side. So this is a case of hydrosalpinx. Coming to the next case. So this was a young female and that came to the gynec OPD with the complaints of chronic pelvic pain. And when the HSG procedure was performed, we can see on the right side involving the isthmic segment of the fallopian tube are numerous diverticular outpouching. I'll show you one more similar radiograph. In this radiograph, we can see a smooth, well opacified uterine cavity, and on either side, the isthmic portions of the fallopian tube show numerous diverticular outpouchings. So both these are the cases of salpingitis isthmica nodosa. Coming to the next spotter. In this, we can see a well opacified uterine cavity, but on either side, if we look carefully, there is opacification of the vessels. These are the arcuate vessels, these are the parametrial vessels, and on either sides, these are the pelvic vessels. So this is actually a case of contrast extravasation into the arcuate and then into the parametrial and the pelvic vessels. So in this radiograph, we can see a well opacified uterine cavity, but in this segment we can see there are two ovoid filling defects, and these defects were found to be stationary or stable during the procedure. So this was case of polyps, and what we can see is an additional finding in the form of a calcified leiomyoma on the right side. So these were the endometrial polyps. In the next radiograph, we can see two well opacified uterine cavities, and there is a big gap between. So this gap, it can be either a septa in itself, or this can be two separate divergent horns, and along with it we can see the well opacified fallopian tubes and to some extent the spillage on right and to a greater extent on the left side. So this was a case of Mullerian anomaly,